I'm going to start working through the album or the folio that I'm making right now with the Snowmen and Friends paper. And so what I've done is I've kind of been working on one side, and I'm going to do the same exact thing on the other side, so you can kind of get an idea of where we're going. I haven't done anything with the cover or anything yet. This is an 8x10. And then there's, I used a Craftex spine, which I'll talk to you in a little bit about in just a second. But what we're doing, and I have still more to do, but I wanted to get the tutorial started. This page has two pockets here, and then when you open it, there's a pocket in here, just a little tiny pocket here, and then there is a little space for a pocket there. So you can kind of put little, cut aparts and stuff like that. I am going to make a booklet to put in this one. Then there's the flaps here that have belly bands, so you can stick something under it. You can put things on the side like little cards. Still have to work through all that stuff. Then the top and the bottom flaps just open, and then you have a large pocket here that you can put stuff. So the other side's going to mimic that over here on this side. So like I said, I have more to do over here, but I wanted to get the tutorial started just so that I didn't go too far and forget what I've done. So to start with, let me write some things down just to make it a little bit easier. I have all my papers labeled, so if you have a notebook nearby, you can use that and just jot down everything that I have for you. But as far as the spine goes, I did use Craftex. So Craftex is like a paper and a fabric combination. And it used to be sold at Country Craft Creations. I don't know if she still has it. You can also probably get it at a fabric store or something, but it's real durable, doesn't really rip, and so you can open and close your book a lot. But I'm going to do it with paper. This folio should still work with paper. But the spine itself, you're going to need one piece that's 3x10, and I'll put this up to the camera in just a second. And then for the front and back cover, you're going to need two, one for each side, that is measures 11x8. And two that are going to measure 10x8. Okay, so this is what you can expect for the cover. And like I said, this was Craftex. This was just artisan cardstock. So let me show you the scoring then. So the only scoring you do on your covers is to take the 8x11, and you're going to put the 11 inches across the top, and you're going to score at 1/2 on each end. So once you score at, oopsie, this is really thick paper. I don't think this is artisan the more I think about it. You're going to score at 1/2, and then you're going to turn it around, and you'll score it 1/2 again. Yeah, this is not artisan. I don't know. I just took it out of my stash. I don't like it. Okay. And so then what you'll do is you'll just burnish those score marks, and you'll want to take your bone folder or your scoring or your burnishing tool and just fold it down real well. And then you're going to take this 8x10, and you want it to slide inside of here, but it will buckle if you leave it exactly at 8 inches before you glue it. So you're going to want to shave some off the 10-inch so that it's closer to, like, I don't know, 9 7/8, and we'll see how that works. So let me just cut a little piece off. So now this is 9 7/8, and that works fine. So what I do then is I just put that on the inside, and then I open this. I'll put glue here, and I might as well do it. Watch now, my glue. Yep, I knew it. I have to put the pin in and get it unclogged. If I can't even find there we go. So you'll just put glue here. Oh my gosh, it's clogged again. Okay, you'll bring that over onto the piece that we tucked underneath. You're going to want to burnish it. Okay, and then you'll do that to the other side also. Just lift up that 1/2 inch, put glue on there, and this is what makes your front and back cover. So it's 2 layers if you're using artisan. It's very durable. So you're gonna have, it's gonna be, by the time you put pattern paper on it, it's gonna be a real sturdy cover. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry, but it is open all the way through then so that we can put the spine here, and then we're going to put some flaps over on the other side. So let that dry. Now this is 3 by 10, and so I did make the first score at 3/4 just to give me a little bit more wiggle room when I put it into the front and back cover. So I started with 3/4, and then I went by 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to go at 1 inch. I'll go to 1 1/4, 1 1/2, 1 3/4, 2, and 2 1/4. Okay. Now on the craft text, you'll have to go, if that's what you use, you're going to have to go over it a couple times because it's a pretty thick material. But the purpose of that is just so that you can round it, and it will just be easier to work with when you open and close it. So I wanted a rounded spine. So you can see it's rounded here. Okay. I don't know if you can tell that it looks like regular paper, but it's craft text. Okay, so then to attach, you do have to do a little bit of cutting. So on that 3/4 inch piece, you just miter it on each end on both sides. Okay. And then you take your pages and you're going to put adhesive on the 3/4 inch on the inside and the outside, but do a dry fit first, and you're going to slide it into that side, and you go up to the score, and then it will make a cover. Okay, so you'll have that spine here. Let me just go ahead and do it now because I did a dry fit and it fit perfect on both sides on the 3/4 inch only. Slide it in just to the score, and because we're using glue, we have a little bit of wiggle room here. Okay, you're going to burnish it. And then I turn it over and burnish on that side. Okay, kind of round my spine again, and then I will do the same thing. I'll attach the other cover to the other 3/4 inch side. Okay, so that's how we start our folio. So then let me give you some measurements of some paper that you're going to want to write down and get ready. Okay, let's start with, so the measurement, the amount I'm giving you is for one side. You're going to do two. I've already done one side, so you're going to cut double of whatever the measurements that I give you, because you have to do the left and the right. I'm just doing the right hand side right now. So 8.5 by 10 is the first paper I'm working with, and I'm going to score it so that I have the 8.5 inches across the top of my scoreboard, and I'll score it a half. So because I'm using one, you'll cut two. Okay, let me get those out of there. So then 8.5 inches across the top, and we're going to score at 1/2. Okay, there's one. The next piece you'll want to get ready. This is going to be the large pocket that was on the inside. I cut this, I'm trying to get the sticky note so it doesn't have a glare. 8 7/8 by 7.5. I need one, you'll need two. So you're going to place the 8 7/8 inches across the top. You'll score at 1/2. You'll rotate your paper one time, so the 7.5 inches is across the top. You'll score it a half, And then you'll do that one more time of rotating. Your 8 7/8 is back at the top. You'll score at 1/2. Okay. You're going to need 2 pockets, so you'll cut 4. Those measurements are 6 by 5 1/4. And we're going to put the 6 inches across the top, score at 1/2 on each end, and then we'll score at 1/2 with the 5 1/4 inches across the top. So start with your 6 inches, score at 1/2, rotate it once, score at 1/2, rotate it one more time, and score at 1/2. Do that to both pieces for the right and then both pieces for the left. You will need, these are for flaps. You're going to need 2 pieces that are 5 3/4 by 7 7/8. So you'll do 4. We make 2 score marks with the 5 3/4 inches across the top. You score at 1/2 and you score at 3/4 on both pieces. You'll need 4 belly bands for each side, so a total of 8. These are 1 by 6, and you'll just place that 6 inches across the top, and you'll score at 1/2 and at 5 1/2. Okay. One last thing we need, and like I said, this is before we do any booklets or inserts, so this is just the basic construction. You're going to need 2 pieces. I'm using 1, you'll need 2. I don't know why I wrote 2 on this one and I didn't in the other ones, but you'll need a total of 2, and they are 7 1/2 by 10. And I have several score marks on this, so I'm going to put the 7 1/2 inches across the top. You'll score at 1/2. You'll score at 3/4. Go over to 4 1/2, and then 6 1/2. Okay. So let's prepare our basic pockets first and burnish our belly bands. Do a lot of burnishing actually. So with belly bands, when you score the 1/2 inch on each end, all you have to do is burnish to prepare those. So we'll do that to all of those and get them prepped. Now because these are 1 inch, I do matting that's 1/8 of an inch smaller, so you will mat these with 7/8 by 4 7/8. Because once the 1/2 inch is there, they're 5 inches long, so you would mat with 4 7/8. There's your belly bands. The piece that was 8 1/2 by 10, we scored at 1/2. Just go ahead and burnish that. And then you can miter the 1/2 inch. The 2 pieces, oopsie. The 2 pieces that were 5 3/4 by 7 7/8, we scored them at 1/2 and at 3/4, so just burnish on those score marks. Let's see. Okay, so you do have a 1/4 inch gusset. Let's see. Sometimes it's hard when you have that small of a gusset to get your paper burnished. So I am going to go ahead and miter just on the 1/2 inch. So don't go past that 1/2 inch score mark. So we need to leave the 1/4 inch gusset intact. Okay, so just cut 1/4 inch miter. And I just need to go back and do that to the other one also. Okay, so we'll now move on to the large pocket that was 8 7/8 by 7 1/2. We scored it on 3 sides, so let's go ahead and burnish it first. And you do pockets the same way, so after I do this one, you'll do the 2 pockets that measured 6 5 1/4 the same way. Okay, so we do miter at the top, like so, and the other side. Down at the bottom where you have the intersecting score marks, you see a little square. We're going to cut out that square at an angle on both sides. Okay, I'll need to give this a better burnish, I think. Okay, let me move this off to the side. And like I said, you'll do the same thing then with your smaller pockets that were 6 by 5 1/4. After you burnish, you're going to go ahead and miter at the top and cut out the squares at an angle on the bottom. So angle cut, and cutting out that square at an angle. Okay, so you can do that to all your pieces so far. Get that ready and prepped. And then the paper that was 7 1/2 by 10, where we made the 1/2, 3/4, 4 1/2, and 6 1/2 inch score, we're going to kind of leave that alone for a little bit. I'm going to have to refresh my memory as to how I prepared that one, so I'll leave that till I'm ready to attach it to the book. So I'm mitering to the 1/2 inch, taking out the squares on the corner. All right. Now, a lot of times it's going to be easier to mat your papers before you put them in your book, so that's your choice. You can do that if that's what you would like to do. I don't give the measurements of my pattern paper because some people do a 1/4, some do an 1/8. You do it however you like. Okay, so I will show you how we're going to prep. Let's go ahead and take the 8 1/2 by 10, and then we have the 2 pockets that were 6 by 5 1/4. I'm going to corner round the ends here on the right hand side, the side opposite the score. Okay, so I'm going to put my 1/2 inch underneath here, and we're going to place the 2 pockets side by side. I have the score down facing me because it's easier for me to attach it that way. And you're going to go all the way to the bottom and to the side and do a dry fit to make sure that you have your pockets fit exactly the same width. So 10, 10, that should line up perfectly. Mine do. So now I can go ahead and glue those down. So I use the art glitter glue. Okay, I'm going to tuck in the 2, I don't have much glue on this one. Tuck in the 2 sides, and place the bottom, oopsie, and line up the sides. And I'm going to get my dry wet wipe and get rid of that excess glue that squeezes out. It'll dry clear. And then I'll lay the other one right next to it. Okay. Same procedure here. Tuck in those two sides. Bring it all the way down to the bottom. Line it right up against that pocket you just glued down. Okay, and then I'll burnish it with my burnishing tool now that I got rid of the excess glue. Okay, so that's what we have so far. And that is what you see here on this side. So it'll be on this side. Okay. Now when you open this, you'll see this funky pocket. That's the one that we haven't done any burnishing on yet. So let's go ahead and work on the center piece instead. So the two pieces, whoopsie, the two pieces that we're measuring 5 3/4 by 7 7/8, it has a 1/4 inch gusset, so you just place glue on the 1/2 inch, and we're going to place that like so. Okay, and we'll do the top and the bottom, and then we will wait then on the pocket for just a second. I want to make sure I do this in the right order. So I do line it up all the way at the bottom. Don't go over any score marks. Looks good. So then I'm going to open it. Now I did not, I did corner round, so if you want to do that also, so that your flaps are rounded corners. And I'm going to turn the book upside down and do the same thing. It's just easier for me to glue it in this direction. So I'm going to go ahead and corner round before I put those on this one. This is the We Are Memory Keepers corner rounder from Country Craft Creations, where you can get it. And it has three different measurements, 10, 7, and 4 millimeter cuts. Okay. I'm tucking just the 1/2 inch piece going all the way to the bottom here, which is actually our top, making sure that everything lines up. And right now it's a little bit overlapping because I have the gusset laying down flat. Again, you might want to do your pattern paper first. It's up to you. Okay. So now we can put our belly bands on. I put them on here. You could have done them ahead of time. It doesn't matter. So we've got the 4 pieces. We don't need to miter these because they go right, they're not at the edge of our paper, they go in the center. And I want to measure how far I went in on the other one so that we have the same distance on this one. I think I went 1.5 inches, but I'm not sure. Yep, I went in 1.5 inches on each side. So what I will do is I'm going to do a little pencil tick mark just because it's easier than trying to line it up on my grid. So I'm going to take my pencil, lay that down at 1.5, and I'm just going to put a little tick mark so I know where to put the end. I'll do that on both ends actually. Okay, so what we're going to do is just put glue on the 1/2 inch on both sides. I'm going to do one side at a time. So I'm pushing this down flat, but I am not covering that 1/4 inch gusset. It's just easier for me to lay it down. And I want to look at it to make sure I'm happy as it's straight, and then I burnish. Get rid of any excess glue. Okay, and we'll do the same thing, opposite end. So the basic construction is easy. We want to add some cute inserts to give it some pizzazz. There we go. And now for the top piece, I would just line them up with the belly bands that we've already laid down, so we don't have to take our ruler and measure those. So I'm going to turn my book upside down. And I will do this end first, the one that's closest to the other piece, just to make sure I line it up exactly right. And I'm just doing one end of glue right now, just to make sure that I'm doing it correctly. I'm going to open that up, make sure it doesn't hang over. Okay. And now I'll put glue on the other end. To burnish it, I'm going to flatten out that gusset. Okay, and the last one. Line it up. Oh. Using black paper, sometimes it's hard to see. And now I'll lay down the top part. And burnish it. So these bump up right up against each other. Okay, so that's what we have so far. So now we do want to put this flap on. And this is where I'm going to have to look to see how I did this, because I don't remember. It's kind of a funky fold. So let me look at this, and I'm going to do it the opposite way. I'm going to go ahead and do my 1/2 inch and my 3/4 inch and burnish that, and then I'm going to go ahead and miter on the 1/2 inch piece. So I'm just going to snip and snip. So I'm pretty sure, yep, on the 4.5 we're going to fold up. And then that 1 inch that's left, we're going to fold that back the opposite direction. And I am going to corner around that 1 inch section. Nope. Sometimes I don't put it in right. There we go. So this is what we have. We're going to be inserting it. So we folded back the 1/2 inch. We have a 1/4 inch gusset. We folded at the 4.5 and at the 6.5. So this is what it looks like from a top view. Now I'm not going to do any gluing down until I put my pattern paper on for these pockets. They don't have a gusset or a 1/2 inch side, so what I did was I just glued them down. And so you're going to put most of your inserts in the center part because these are glued without any 1/2 inch spacing. So we'll just focus on putting inserts in the center. Okay, so what I did was I'm going to glue that 1/2 inch piece. Let me open this up and show you. We're going to end up gluing this in here. Like so. And then we're going to end up putting this on top, like so. So they'll be just opposite each other. So let's do this first. Let's go ahead and put glue on the 1/2 inch piece on the top and the bottom. And we'll insert it into our cover piece. All right. Slide it in. Don't cross over the score of your gusset. And we're going to push that down and burnish it, and we'll have to flip it over and burnish it on the other side too. Want it to have a real firm hold. And I'm going to just get rid of the excess glue as always, and it will dry clear, but I still want to get rid of as much as I can. All right, now we're going to place the 8 7/8 by 7.5 inch pocket down right like so, and we want to make sure that it lines up with our flap so that you don't see anything hanging off the edges. So I did a dry fit, looks pretty good. So now it's glue time. And the bottom. I don't glue very well when I hold it in the pocket this way. Yeah, that's a mess. Tucking in the two sides. I'm leaving just a little bit of a space for that 1/2 inch gusset that we have. And I want to make sure that that lines up and it's covered. Yep. So now I can push it down. Ew, I'm getting glue all over the place. I'm not the neatest gluer that there is. That's why I love this art glitter glue, so it dries clear and you don't see my errors. Okay. All right, so now we need to attach this. I gotta make sure I'm doing this the same way as I did it over here. No, I'm not. Let's see. This should be no. No, that's right. I'm doing it right. It looks so weird. It's hard to tell. So I have the, no, this should be on the inside. Hold on. I gotta figure this out. Give me a second. I knew I was gonna do this. Okay, I had it burnished totally the opposite direction. Okay, so we have our gusset right here on the middle, and then on the 4 1/2 we should have scored it to the inside, and then we take that 6 1/2 and go back to the outside. So here is the 4 1/2, then we scored it 6 1/2, so I'm going to bring that up and over, and then that 1 inch comes back. I hope that makes sense. Now, you don't want to glue anything down, though, pocket-wise, until you have your pattern paper on. So now we need to attach this on top of this. Okay, so it's going to go right on top there. And then we'll end up gluing these two pieces together so that we have the pocket here. Ooh, that sounds confusing. It's not, but it sounds that way. I'm going to turn this sideways. Okay. This has a 1/4 inch gusset, so I'm going to lay that down flat so when I glue this, it lines up perfect. Put glue on the 1/2 inch on this large flap. Line it up, top, or excuse me, the bottom and the sides. Look right, I think so. And I'm going to burnish it. Get rid of that excess. Okay. So now can you kind of tell that we're getting on the right track here? So you're going to put some pattern paper here. You don't have to go all the way down. Then you can put glue on this side and lay it down. Then you're going to place pattern paper here. You don't have to go all the way down. Then you'll place glue here and here. And then you'll put glue at the little 1 inch end on each end after you put pattern paper here, and we'll glue it down. So I think I'll probably do that on camera with you just so it's not confusing. So let me get my paper cut and then I will come back. So now that I have my pattern paper here, it doesn't have to go down all the way. And I have my paper here, doesn't have to go all the way. And I have my paper here. It did not have to go all the way down. So now I'm going to start gluing just the sides to close off the pocket. So I'm just going to put glue on the ends. Okay, so I'm going to lay that down, and that will be our first pocket. Okay, and burnish that real well because there's not a ton of glue there. Okay, now we want to glue the little 1-inch piece down here on the end and down here. So that becomes a little 1-inch pocket that you can just put little pieces of ephemera, or we can attach things with paper clips. And then finally put a little glue here on each end. And go ahead and close that. Give it a good burnish. And there you have all those little pockets now. So that we have this side and that side. And it'll look cuter once we get the decorating done too. All right, so now you can just finish doing your pattern paper, and then we'll start looking at making some inserts and the cover. All right. So off camera, I have been doing a lot of decorating and matting, and I was going to make a bunch of fancy inserts, and I chose not to because the paper's kind of busy, and I did a lot of die cutting. So I'm not doing a whole lot of fancy inserts. So let me show you one of them that I'm doing. This is for the large pocket in the on the base, and I'll show you that in just a second. But this is 7.5 by 9.5, and I've cut 2 photo mats. I think these are, what are they, 4.5 or 4? 4.5 by 6, and I did corner round them, and I feel like, let's see. I corner rounded them with this corner rounder. Why does this look so dark? Maybe it's just my lighting. So I'm going to put these 2 mats on the side, but I do want a flap because there's a cute cut apart that I want to use from the collection, and I did corner round these also, and I do need to go around this with black because I can see the white. So let me do that real quick. Now I have a little bit more of a border on this mat than normal. So let me show you the other one I've already done. So this is the insert, and it just opens up so you can put a picture here, you have pictures here, and I left the back plain. You can do whatever you want with it, but I'm going to do the same thing on this one. I'm just using different cutouts and stuff. So this piece that we're going to use as a flap measures 5.5 by 7. I scored at, with the 5.5 across the top, I scored at 5. And I'm just going to go ahead and burnish that, and I am going to corner round. You have to push kind of hard on the side that has the 1/2 inch, but it will work. At least with this one it did. So I got to squeeze that in there, and see, it does work. Just got to give it a good push. Okay, so all 4 corners are rounded. So I'm going to have my flap so that it opens this way. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down before I glue it to the page. It's nothing that's hard or detailed, or it's just I wanted a lot of space for pictures, and if I add too much paper, it kind of limits what pictures I think that you can put on there. Maybe that's just me being lazy and not wanting to make fancy inserts, but that's what I chose to do. Okay, that's so, it says chilling with my snowmies. Now Now before I put it on here, I do want to put the white matte pieces down. Again, these were, I don't remember, something 4.5 by 6. Yep, 4.5 by 6. And the black paper is 7.5 by 9.5. And then I'll go through what I have on the book that I did off camera, which was quite a bit, but I don't usually do the decorating on camera just because it gets kind of monotonous to watch. And I never know what I'm going to do either, so it would take forever. So the only thing I have after showing you this, the decorating I've done so far, is I still haven't done the cover yet. I wanted to do all the inside first. Hope I saved paper for the cover that I like. The good thing about these paper collections though is they come with 3 each, so I'm sure I have plenty. All right. My lighting, I don't know. You guys, I know I say that every time, but it looks so... Let me try something. I don't know if that did anything. So now I'm going to glue this down and I'm going to center it like so. I'm going to turn it this way just because it's easier. And glue on the 1/2 inch. Go all the way to the edge. And I'm just eyeballing. You can measure and find the center if you want. And then I'm taking a 1 1/4 inch strip and I corner rounded it, and I'm going to place that right here. Oh, I have it too long, don't I? This was 9.5, so I need to cut this down. Hope I didn't do too much. Yeah, there we go. All right, so let me go ahead, and that's kind of cute, that snowman part, but... And so I did 2 of these, one for the left and one for the right. Again, I could go back, I might go back and do the back of these because if I have plenty of paper. But right now I have so many projects I want to work on that I'm going to go ahead and get this one wrapped up. Ooh, look at all that come out. Okay, now lighting wise, I don't know if you can tell very well. Nope. I do, you guys, I do this every video. I try and adjust it, and I don't know. I don't know if it's my camera or me. It probably is me. I don't know. So there's that. So let me put it in the book that I've done, and then I am going to walk you through the decorating part. I think it's super cute, and it's all because of the paper. All right. So my goal is to start using my dies more, and so that's what I have done. That's why it's taken me so long to do the decorating, the inside. Usually it doesn't take me this long. Okay, so let me move this. Okay. I gotta clean my area. I can't stand a messy area. All right, so when you open it, I used the cutout, well, all of these are dies, the Believe, and I have one that says Mary, and I had little pockets that I had as a die, and it came with a little paper that goes inside so you can do some journaling or put dates. And then I put one of the small ephemera pieces in there. I have a snowflake with a little bling center. Hold on, this is driving me And I don't know how to edit, so I can't. I just want you to get the true color. And it's not working. Yikes. I don't know. I get so frustrated. Okay, so inside of the pockets, I just have two mats. One of them I used my snowflake dies, and the back is plain. And then this one I have the Tim Holtz. It's so old and I've never used it. It's the on the border ones, and it's called Snow Flurries. So I cut it out in black, I mean the whole thing, and then I just went and did another piece that was white and put it on top and matted it. So I have two in each pocket. So this one and this one, and then I put two over here. I think that's all I did on the outside then. So then when you open it, and it's so long I can't, I did use an ephemera piece here and here on the belly band. I have a snowflake border, and it's getting kind of smushed, but I left it open so I could tuck a picture in. I might end up having to go back and glue it down if it's going to get torn, and then just put the picture on top. And then the back is plain. I don't want it to get, see, it keeps getting stuck. And then this one, I did a different snowflake on the top. The back's empty. So I'll go ahead and open the flaps on this side. So I just put a mat on this one. I have that snowman paper on the back that's blue. I have the Dress My Craft, is that what it's called? Yep, Dress My Craft punch from Country Craft Creations. So I glued it in a way that I could still use these slits when you put the picture in. And then the other one on the bottom is just the same. I just put the mat on the opposite side. I put it on this side. I just had one little snowflake that I put here. I loved this picture so much I didn't want to do too much to it. And then here's that mat, and the back is plain. And you can still stick individual pictures in here, and you're going to have plenty of room. So this side, remember there were a bunch of different pockets. So I just put some of the cut aparts, and I matted them on white, and I just put a little pull so that it was easy to get to, or take out anyway. Did that on all of them. Now remember, this also is a pocket, and I liked these tags, so I have an old punch, and so I cut out the punch, or cut out the tags, put bows on them, and I just set them in there. But when I opened and closed the cover, they kept falling out. So, and I just put them on a piece of white paper, and then I tuck it in here, and then I let the tags hang on the outside like so. I think that looks kind of cute. So this insert is just an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper that I folded in half, and then I decorated it. The inside's empty right now for pictures. I did use my dies again. I have a Christmas tree here on the side. I left the top open so I could put a tag that I had some bells. Just stick that in like so. I have some three-dimensional things, a little gingerbread, some snowflakes and candy canes, and then a star. And the back is empty as well. And you just tuck that right in that pocket. Okay, so that's the left-hand side, and the right-hand side pretty much mimics it, just different papers. Okay, so now I still have the border dies here on the black, and I still did the mat on the sides, and then I just did that one with you. Okay, and then I did the same thing over here. I made the same little booklet. It's plain on the inside. Put some dimension on there on the tree for the this is a die. This was a die. You don't have to, you could have closed that. I just wanted it to become a pocket. And then, oh, I love that paper. And then I did the same thing with the matting, putting a little black pull on it, both of them. And then I did the tags on this side too. So that is what I have. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Now I just need to do the cover, and I'm trying to decide what I want to do with that. So stay tuned. I probably am going to have a ribbon closure. That's what I normally do, or a seam binding closure. So you put that down before you put your paper down. Maybe I'll do 3, you know, like a snowman has the 3, the small, medium, and large body pieces. Maybe I'll put 3 pieces of seam binding for closures. So we'll see what I come up with, but I will be back and show you what I came up with. But I've still got plenty of room. It will expand quite a bit. I could add more if I wanted. So stay tuned and I'll show you what I'm going to do with the cover. Okay. All right, it is dark in here. It is nighttime. Let's see if I can make it brighter. Here we go again. You probably get tired of me doing this. Oh my. Okay, well, I don't know color-wise how good that is, but the cover's done. And I did do a shaker on the front with some like pearl iridescent snowflakes and snowmen. I have a little bow up here. Kind of looks like a picture frame the way it is. Little snowflakes here and there. Winter Wonderland here. I did mat it twice. I did do just 1 tie closure. I was thinking about doing 3. And then here's the back, just simple. So I might end up putting a charm on the side, not sure quite yet. But again, this was 8 by 10, and I think it'll hold quite a few pictures. And then that's what it looks like when you open it. So, all right, well, if you have any questions about the tutorial, please don't hesitate to ask. Remember at the beginning when I did the construction of the book, I didn't use craft text on my tutorial, but I did use craft text on mine just because it's way more durable, and I think it's more expandable too. So this was called Snowman and Friends. It's from Country Craft Creations. It's the only place you can get it, and they have other Christmas papers too. But go ahead and check out the website, and if you, like I said, if you have questions, let me know. And I hope you enjoy making the book. If you do, and you're a member of Country Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations on Facebook, go ahead and post a picture for us. All right, thanks everybody.